Yeah, indeed, it is a multifaceted problem. And let's get more insight into that water crisis in Mexico City and how it is affecting the country's economy and its citizens. Vanessa Pérez-Cirera joins us now via Zoom. She is the director of the Global Economic Center at the World Resource Institute, where they look to find answers to the world's biggest environmental challenges. And I have to say, it certainly seems that we have one here. Can you give us an overview of the current water crisis in Mexico City and other regions in that country? Because this is a crisis that has been decades in the making. Climate change, the mass population, and a water table that is running dry.
Yes, definitely, Sean, and thank you for the opportunity. So this is not unique to Mexico. Certainly, I think it's presenting itself in many regions of the world. In Mexico, it's as you say, a long-term and long-seen crisis problem, and it's affecting 60% of the country has moderate to acute water scarcity. But of course, for the first time in many years, I live in Mexico City, and for the first time in many years, we've actually, more than 50% of the population is now, having to buy water trucks, which hasn't happened in the past, right? And it just unveils also the inequity of the water access crisis, right? For many years, many different districts in Mexico City had been subject to water shortages and so on, but now it has become more and more acute, and that has to do with deforestation of the upper watersheds around Mexico City. We were importing water from the southeast part of the country, and of course now there's big problems on that, and there's of course the modernization of infrastructure that has been delayed for quite a while. So that compounded with the climate change issue makes this a particularly acute problem that now is felt by almost 40 million people that live in Mexico City. But not only us, it's of course a problem that has been felt by the agricultural sector, but particularly smallholder farmers.
Let's talk about the climate change. Basically, rainfall in that region has curtailed to a large degree, changed dramatically in recent years. And there's just no way to replenish empty aquifers if that happens, especially with a mega city depending on it.
Exactly. I mean, Mexico City has a very large rainfall, as you know. So those patterns haven't changed so much. What hasn't been solved is actually how to capture that water, and we haven't made up a plan that really captures the water. What is happening is, of course, that, as you said, urban sprawl and the growth of the city has been impeding the aquifer from really taking advantage of that rainfall that falls into the Valley of Mexico, which is incredible. I mean, we have during 6 months of the year we have rainfall patterns all the time, but that hasn't been hand in hand with proper government programs that really take into account the rainfall patterns and have also regulatory measures for wastewater and wastewater treatment around the city.
And also, I want to talk about something you brought up just a bit earlier, that people are having to buy water right now. Obviously, if you're more wealthy, that is something that can be done. But community, businesses trying to adapt, it is always, in these kind of climate and suffering areas, the most disadvantaged who suffer the most.
No, definitely. I mean, our data points out that now, on average, every citizen in Mexico City has to spend 10% of the daily income in water, right? And so that's for a family that lives under the poverty line, which is still around between 30 and 40% of the population. As you can imagine, it's an enormous burden, right? So that really unveils an inequity problem that is underlying, right? And bigger than that, of course, if we want for Mexico to be prosperous and be able to harness the opportunities of nearshoring and other economic opportunities that can actually give labor opportunities to our workforce, we need to sort this crisis from the root causes, right? And think about, you know, a huge restoration program for the upper watersheds,
right.
making sure that you know, the aquifers can actually capture the water that they need to capture, you know, more stringent regulation, and of course modernization of the agricultural irrigation systems that account for 75% of the use of water in Mexico.
Vanessa, it's a little unfair, but only about 30 seconds. Tell me what you think is going to happen in the near future. Are we running into a crisis like South Africa was concerned about day zero? It never hit that area, but could this happen in the Mexico City area?
Well, definitely it could happen. I don't think that we will run completely out of water. The southeast part of Mexico has water, but it's just going to unveil the inequality in Mexico much more. I believe that Claudia's proposal are much more ambitious than the current president has, and it's more focused on the root causes rather than having these mega projects that actually are tearing down many forested areas of the country. And so we really hope that the promises of Claudia come true, because I think she understands where the problem lies and the systemic solutions that are needed. We just need them to really put in place these programs and prioritize public funding for the needed modernization of infrastructure. There's a lot of problems also in wastewater and losses of water in the distribution stream.